Welcome to the Good GMs podcast. I'm E.E. Morris, and today's episode is the GMs who went up a hill and came down a mountain. And now here's Chuck and James.
What are we doing? I can't even keep a straight face. First episode, and we can't even get it started right. Let's start over one more time. Here we go from the top. I'm kidding. Go, just go.
Yes,
just go. This is part of it. This is all part of it.
This is all part of it. So, hi, I'm Chucky T.
And I'm James Curry. How are you guys doing out there?
Welcome to the Good GMs podcast.
Welcome. Yeah, this is our first episode. I'm excited about this. This is something that Chuck and I have been talking about for a while, actually. We've been playing with names, and just every time we get in a good long conversation about role-playing games, we're like, man, we should really be recording this.
Yeah.
Of course, so here we are, and we'll just be like, what do you go?
No, you go.
You go. So yeah, we've been gaming together for a little while, and we'll get to that. I'm James. I live up here in Canada, and I like role playing games. It's my pastime. I'm a musician, but more of my focus lately has followed the art of GMing, and that's why I thought I'd be able to help share some of my experience.
Hi, I'm Chucky T.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a lifelong gamer. By day, I have a very boring job. So gaming is my freedom. It's what I've always enjoyed.
Yeah, it's nice, right? I think of it in an art form. I think of it as like an escape from reality, perhaps in some way or another. It's it's either that or heroin. And I figured this is probably the better way to go.
No, we do not promote that.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Well, it's like I told my wife, and my wife gets really mad because I don't drink heavy. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I'm not going out, every night. She just gets mad because she's like, I can't compete with a game.
No. So why don't you tell me quickly how you got into it? Like, we'll both go back and forth here. Sure. You go and tell me, like, what was your first, tell us about your first experience.
Whoa, easy. Gaming. Yes, gaming.
Yes.
So to the best as I can recall, I believe my mom.
It was long.
It's been a couple of days.
A couple of days.
But yeah, my mom went to a local shop, and I think she thought
was this during the Satanic Panic, or
no? I was just past that. Just past that.
Yeah, okay.
And I think she thought she was picking me up a board game. Because she went into a local comic shop. And the guy asked my mom, is like, well, what is your son like? What is he like? And all that. And my mom, because I'm a comic book guy and all this stuff. And so he said, I got just the game. And, again, my mom had no idea what an RPG is. I mean,
no.
Hell, I didn't even know what an RPG was,
And so for our listeners who don't know that it's a role-playing game, you're really listening to the wrong podcast.
Right.
So this is for the GMs. This is for the players too, but really, I mean, it's not a rocket-propelled grenade.
And so he sold her. Oh boy, here we go. You ready? This is aged.
Okay. It was a vintage copy, right? It was a vintage copy, right?
Oh,
brand new in the box.
TSRs.
Uh-oh.
Okay, TSRs. Marvel Superheroes.
Nice.
Basic edition.
Yeah.
Again, she thought it was a board game. Hell, when I first opened it up, I thought it was a board game.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember around that same time, they had gone to a yard sale, and she grabbed a box set of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The classic. The standard.
No. This is like something Zendar's Dungeon or something like that. It was an introductory.
I just meant Dungeons and Dragons is the classic.
Oh yeah. No, this is the one where the dice, like, you had to put crayon on the dice and wipe them off.
Yeah, and that's how you can see the numbers.
Right,
yeah.
And it had the pouches, and like you were supposed to go through each pouch, and it taught you the game. And you see, and right, and like, as an older version of me, I would appreciate that, but the younger version of me was like, "This is schoolwork.
Yeah,
I don't like this
stupid math."
Stupid math, right? So I started with Marvel, my friends and I, we played the living hell out of that.
I bet.
Then we jumped into Vampire.
Yep.
You're right. Did that for a very long time. I've touched on to the old game Chill. I did the
We'll
old...
talk about that someday. I don't know what that is, but I'm excited. Okay.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Moving on. Chill, West End Games. A lot of the West End games, especially Star Wars.
Right.
Had a great time doing Star Wars with that. There was Blood Shadows. There was oh my God, the Masterworks system, which was also West End Games, but a really funky system.
Either we didn't get these in Canada, or you just have a lot more experience. You're more experienced than I am. I'm really just.
I just started grabbing games.
Yeah.
Shit. The Vampire game, I grabbed the wrong damn book.
I
grabbed the player's guide because that's what I thought you were supposed to get, was the player's guide.
Still had some great art, I'll tell you that.
Oh boy, howdy. So that, and then classic Deadlands. Because we were at Gen Con, my friend and I were at Gen Con when that debuted.
Nice.
And so life happens. And then I saw Savage Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, and I recognized the Pinnacle and all that stuff. And then I was like, oh, no, this is completely different.
Right, yeah.
All right. But it didn't take long, and I fell in love with that. And
oh, yeah. That's easy.
Oh, yeah, that's my game of choice. Well, because, I remember seeing Call of Cthulhu.
Right.
And I was immediately turned off because I'm terrible at math. I'm horrible at math.
Oh, yeah, and there's like at least 20, 30 stats on the character sheet, and it's all percentiles and
exactly.
Yeah.
All I saw were percentages.
You're like,
and I didn't understand.
Yeah.
So immediately turned me off from
Got
it.
it.
I was like,
yeah,
no.
I'd much rather play Shadowrun and just add up 15 dice. That's way better math.
Yeah, Vampire. Here we go. I got my I did really good. I had my 15 dice.
Yeah, my 10-sided. Yeah.
Yeah. So how about you?
Yeah, I had a somewhat similar story, actually. Funny enough, there's a good parallel here. I think the first time I ever gamed was with my friend James White. Wherever you are, I hope you're listening. James and his brother Dave. So we played Dungeons and Dragons probably first. I don't remember much about it because it didn't really light a fire in me, but he introduced me to another game system called Champions.
Okay.
Which is a superhero game system, not quite contending with the Marvel role-playing game universe, but Champions was a lot of fun. Again, I couldn't tell you how to play it to save my life right now. I have the book somewhere on some Google Drives, that I found online one day, but overall I just remember it being a lot of fun, and it was mostly the character creation that I loved. Was just the idea that, like, okay, so I have to come up with like, I think they were called merits and flaws, or no, that was a lot of systems had like advantages and disadvantages sort of. Yep. So I'm like, if my character doesn't have any fingernails, which really doesn't affect him in any way, I can have laser bum,
what?
Whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like, you could add extra points to your laser bum power or whatever. We're kids. We were just kids. So it was a lot of fun, and I always liked Wolverine, and so I think I made a lot of berserker type characters who were just
yeah.
I remember actually one of my favorites was a character who was just a big tough guy, and he was kind of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type in that he always had a line, and it was one of his flaws was he always had to say. And I remember we were doing a big fight with the like wrecking crew or whatever they were called in the grocery store, and I punched one of them and he flew, and we did the math and we figured out he flew like 8 squares in this direction, and he literally landed right on the conveyor belt, and I was like, time to check out. It was really good. Played that for a long time, dropped out of role-playing game, got sort of high school. My friend Jay started running Vampire the Masquerade, and that was right at the right time. Like, I like goth stuff, and so for me, Vampire was a lot of fun. And we basically, for a year and a bit, every single Friday night, this is what a nerd I was, we would play from dusk. We would take his Ritalin, and we because he saved them up all week, and we'd play all night long, and end up going to like Reggie's for coffee first thing in the morning and talking about how the universe worked and stuff. But we played a lot, and our characters just developed, and we had had some amazing scenes where me and my best friend Matt, his character was Malkavian, and I was a Gangrel, and just like scenes where one of us would have something bad happen, and there'd be like real human tears, and like it was just, you know what I mean, like intense, right? Because it's vampire.
Yeah.
Didn't GM at this point. I hadn't started GMing at this point, right? It's kind of like I played. I'd actually preferred to be the player until I again got back into vampire. I was looking for a job, and I went to this training session, this free thing that the government was offering on how to find a job. And one of the things that was sort of new was a website called Meetup. And it's like you can go on there and find places where people who are pursuing your career meet, and you can go meet them and network. And I was like, oh, I wonder if people play Vampire the Masquerade. And so I used this, and I found my friend Francis, who we still play with, and a few other people, and we started playing Vampire. And another one of my buddies introduced me to this little game that you and I both are aware of called Savage Worlds. I mean, I'm skipping over a lot of the games I played, like GURPS and Torg and all these other weird words.
I never did GURPS. I never did Torg.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that someday, I'm sure. I know that one of my favorite podcasts uses GURPS, and they kind of gloss over the math, because if you don't like math, you don't like GURPS. But so he introduced me to Savage Worlds, and that's when I started sort of GMing. It was the deluxe edition, and it was a lot of fun, and it was so simple, right? And we'll get into that later when we get into certain systems and rules. But I started actually, it was before that even. I decided I was going to run the vampire, like the Halloween game for my group, and it was going to be a one shot. And I just kind of went online and looked for one shot Halloween stories. I didn't care what system it was in, because I was going to run it in vampire. Right. And it was the story where these were ghost hunters, and they went to this house because this family was being harassed by some ghosts. And we find out that the next door neighbor was an old Nazi who had killed a bunch of had a bunch of the souls of Jewish people, and they were getting, anyway, long story short, we played through that. It was a lot of fun. Years later, I started playing
Rise of the Blackguard.
That's what it was. And yeah, I found that online. Yes. It was such a good game, and it came with all these audio things that you can download. So I ran it in the system I knew, which was the Vampire the White Wolf system. But then when I discovered Savage Worlds and realized that what I had run was actually, and I downloaded and bought online, was actually Savage Worlds. So it turned out that I could run that one again. But then, yeah, long story short, one day this pandemic happened, and all these people got locked in their houses, and I'm on a Savage Worlds community group, and this guy weirdo is like, I'm going to be running a Deadlands game online if anyone wants to play. And I'm like, I'll give it a shot. I've never played Deadlands, but I like Savage Worlds, and I met this fellow who goes by the name of Chucky T. That's sort of how we met, right? Yeah.
I was terrified too. I really was.
Well, you got one guy at your table there, bud. All I know is I go to play your game, and it's like, well, actually, I think you're supposed to. The tie goes to the defender. I'm pretty sure you can.
Well, because my friends and I had been talking about it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just like how this started up. Like, I had several people say, man, you should be doing this on Twitch and da da da. And I'm like, no, that's a different beast. These are just casual games, and I'm lazy. Oh, yeah. I am. Oh my God, I'm so lazy. And through Google at the time, you could record the session. And I'm like, well, heck, man.
If we're there, might as well push record. It doesn't cost anything, right?
Well, at the time I was, it wasn't even that. It was much, much worse. It was like, well, professional football players and baseball players, they record their games and watch them to see how they could do better. Why can't I?
Right.
And so that's what we started doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I'm lazy. And for me, it was helpful because I didn't have to stop to write down all these notes, because I just knew.
You could go back and listen to it.
I can go back later, and listen to it and jot down notes as necessary.
Right.
That was the idea.
Yeah, see, I just have a relatively eidetic memory when it comes to we could play a whole session like without recording it, and then the next 3 weeks later have our next session and be like, does anyone remember what happened? And I'll be like, yeah, so we went to the bar, I think it was called something and Goat, and there was this waitress. I remember you said she had red hair, and she came to the table, and then she told us about this inn down the road, and somehow I'm able to do that, but.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's my friends were like, no, seriously, man, you should be putting this out, put this out. And I'm like, no. And yeah, I was like, I don't have YouTube. I don't have anything like that. And E.E. Morris is the one that was like,
you might remember him from such intros as Good Guy Gaming. No, what is it called? Good GMs podcast. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes, the voice. Yeah, but he was like, I have YouTube. And I'm like,
his voice is not that.
No, it's not. No,
it's more like I have that, YouTube,
right? And even a couple octaves lower. He was like, but yeah. So he was like, I got YouTube, and we're like, what do you have YouTube for? It's like for my bicycles. I'm like, nice. Seriously?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, can I use yours? Yeah, okay, so we got all set up, and that's how we were running through that. But yeah,
quick plug for Savage Sessions.
That's right, Savage Sessions. It's crunchy.
Yeah,
we'll get into that later.
Yeah,
but yeah, but when you said you were coming on, and I told my friends, I said, "Hey, we got this rando." Because I have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah, it was the first game was me, Everett,
Greg, and Lee,
and lady who played a witch.
Anne. Yeah, she was in for one session.
One whole session.
And she was done. She was done.
We'll hit on the topic of player retention.
Right? Yes. Yeah, like how and what.
What and why.
I don't know why I was being dumb. But I looked up something about going from GM to player, because I'm usually the one that is running the games because none of my friends want to read the damn books.
Right. And that's the funny thing. That's the funny thing, because it was a bit of the opposite for me. Was like, so as a musician, I'll tell you, it's very similar to most bass players are reluctant guitarists, just like most GMs are reluctant players. Yeah. They're like, frig, if nobody else is going to run the game, I guess I got it. And that's sort of how I got into it, right? Was like, I'd rather play, but since nobody's running, I guess I got to be the guy. And now I love it, right? There's so much,
right?
So many wheels on wheels.
God.
Yeah.
But I had read somewhere, or I had heard somewhere that's like, having a GM at your table as a player is either a blessing or a curse.
And sometimes it's a double-edged curry.
And it's like, all of them, almost all of them that I had heard had said that, there's no middle ground. It's either they're really good or they're really bad.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. And I'm very, for me, I was very happy to have you at the table.
Thank you, sir.
Because you know how to engage, you know how to stay in character.
Well, and I want to draw, and I know how to draw the other players, which is part of it, right? Is and we'll get into this someday, I'm sure. To have a player at your table who just wants the spotlight and won't share it is one of the worst things you can have. It's worse than having a table full of players who don't want the spotlight.
Yeah,
it's poison in a lot of ways. And so for me, when it was like, okay, Austin, which was my character's name, Austin James, what are you doing? It was like, how can I assist? So, John, who is Greg's character, is in a fist fight. So maybe I'll do a test. I'll throw a bottle to try to distract the guy he's going to punch or something, because I knew the system. I knew how to work the system, not again, like cheating, but that's knowing the system, right? So being able to use it for what it's good for, which Savage Worlds is good for. What do you want to do? The next step is how do we make it work? And that's, I think, for every system personally. And that's another topic maybe, is like, hey, I want to do a thing that this system doesn't seem to allow for. All systems allow for all things if you're a clever GM, if you're a good GM. And so for me, it's like, I loved being at your table because I like the way you GM. I like your characters. I like your stories. There's been times, and we'll talk about that in future sessions, where I'm like, dude, come on. Like, Stop railroading. But what? But overall, you've been really fun to work with.
That's right.
But back to this. So
yes.
The reason we wanted to do this, I think it comes out of that, which is we both love to game, and we both have a lot of strong opinions on how to be a good GM. And so I think you and I have had occasional, like, we've never actually, for the record, for you listeners out there, we've never actually met in person in real life, on the internets. So for all I know, he's an AI. No. But the one thing I really like is how both of us have different strengths and different things that we're really good at. And I think that we both have a lot to offer you, the listener, as hopefully you got to know us a little bit today, because I gotta say, I think it's going to be a lot of fun moving forward. I know I have a lot of show topic and ideas that I want to bring up, and I know you do too. And everything from if you lock a character in a room, don't say 2 hours later, let them figure out how to get out. But that's another day, another topic. But in all reality, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really happy to be working with you.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I hope you guys out there, wherever you are, if you exist someday, will enjoy listening to us.
Absolutely. And if anything, this will be good for, things to think about.
Yeah.
Get a conversation started. It'll be listen to it, and if you listen to us and you're like, no, you're absolutely way off. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, find us on, I don't know, whatever social media is going to exist in 3 years if you're listening to this for the first time. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And if it's nothing but you and I, Chuck, getting a chance to talk out some stuff and listening back, going checking the tapes to see if we can be better podcasters, then this is going to be worth it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening, and don't forget, join us online, and see you next week on
Good GMs Podcast,
because we are good GMs after all.
That's right, and we are professionals.
We are.
Thank you for listening. If you like or dislike what you heard, let us know. If you want to suggest an idea for an episode, ask the host a question, or just tell Chuck and James what you really think of them, join our communities at patreon.com/Good GMs Podcast, or find us on the usual social media platforms. For now, I'm E.E. Morris, and you're all good GMs.